காட்டிடலாம் சாங் முடிஞ்சது.
அந்த 5 நிமிஷம் கான்சியஸா என்ன கரெக்டா மாட்டி அங்க ஆன் பண்ணி விடணும். அங்க ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு
அங்க எம்சி பண்றவங்க வந்து டக்குனு ஆஃப் பண்ணிடணும். இப்ப பேர்ட் கொடுக்கணும். பேசுறது அவங்க கேக்குது.
ஆமா
ப்ளே பண்ணு. வெளிய நிக்கணும். சுத்தமா இருக்கலையோ?
அங்க போற ஸ்பீக்கரை போற. இப்ப கேக்குதான் பாரு 2 லிங்க்லயும்.
தம்பி யூடியூப் லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீம் வந்து ஸ்டார்ட் ஆயிட்டு சரியா? சவுண்ட்லாம் கேட்க பாட்டலாம் நல்லா கேட்க
மாட்டேங்குது.
ஆமா டிஜேடில கேட்கல.
ஒண்ணுல கேக்குதா?
ஒண்ணுல கேட்கறது கேட்கல. நெக்ஸ்ட் அப்படியே ஏல கேக்குது.
என்ன கேட்கல. டிஜேடி
அதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லிங்க்.
ஆமா அதுல கேட்கல.
கேக்குதா? கேட்கல.
இதுல கேட்கல.
டிஜேடில கேட்கல.
டிஜேடில இருக்கு. ஸ்பீக்கர் ஆன்ல இருக்கா? ஹலோ இந்த மாதிரி
ஆன் பண்றேன். கேக்குதான்னு பாருங்க. என்னதான் பிரச்சனை?
கரெக்டா கேட்டியா?
கேட்கல.
கேட்கும். பேசுறது கேக்குதா?
பேசுறது கேக்குது.
கேக்குதான்னு பாருங்க. ஒரு நிமிஷம் எடுக்கும். எது கேக்குது?
அதுல கேக்குதா? கேட்கல.
சார் ஆனா அந்த செகண்ட் லிங்க்ல கேக்குது. XWA கேக்குது.
அத ஆன் பண்ணி பாருங்க. எழுத்து ஆன் பண்ணி பாருங்க. மைக் ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு அத ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. மைக் ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு அத ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. ஸ்பீக்கர் அங்க ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. இப்போ இல்ல. இப்ப ரெண்டுமே வருது. கேக்குதுல, இப்ப கேக்குது. அது மட்டும் ஆன் பண்ணு. மைக் ஆஃப் பண்ணு. மைக் தான் ஆஃப் பண்ணு. மைக் மட்டும் ஆஃப் பண்ணா லெஃப்ட் அவுட் சொல்லு. நீங்க இப்ப ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. மைக் ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. Yes. ஓகே இன்னொரு லிங்க்ல வந்துச்சு எல்லாம் சரி இன்னொரு செக் பண்ணி
சரி ஓகே சார். செபாஸ்டியன் சார். செபாஸ்டியன் சார்.
கேக்குதா?
சிஸ்டர் ஒரு 10 நிமிஷத்துல வரணும். ஓகேவா?
ஓகே ஓகே.
அதுக்கப்புறம் உங்களையும் அங்க பின் அந்த உங்க ஸ்கிரீன் இருக்குல்ல அதை பின் பண்ணி பாக்கணும் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொன்னாங்க. அப்பதான் எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஓகே சிஸ்டர் இப்ப லைட்டா பாத்துட்டு தான் இருக்காங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே.
தேங்க்யூ.
அந்த ஆஃப் பண்ணுங்க.
ஜெம்ஸ் முடிஞ்சோன்னு அங்க
உள்ளதான் சார் அங்க இன்னொன்று வரவே இல்லை எனக்கு.
பாரு எதுல வரல உனக்கு? நான் போடல. இப்ப சவுண்டே வரல, எங்கேயுமே சவுண்ட் வரல.
பாட்டு ப்ளே
பண்ணிட்டேன் பாட்டை
ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து போடு. பாட்டு பின்னாடி போடு.
பேசுறதெல்லாம் அப்படியே கேக்குறான். ஒரு யூடியூப்ல இவன் இதை பாஸ் பண்ண சொல்றான். பாஸ் பண்ண திரும்ப வருமானு தெரியல. லைவ்ல நீ சொல்லி போற டைம்ல இப்ப வந்துட்டு இருக்கோம்.
இதுல மைக் ஆஃப் பண்ணி வச்சிருங்க. மைக் ஆஃப் பண்ணிருங்க.
பாட்டு படத்துல கண்டிப்பா மைக் ஆன்
வேண்டாம், அது ஸ்பீக்கர்ல கேட்டு
பைப்ல தான் இருக்கேன். எல்லாமே பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். இந்த காலத்துல
மறைக்கிறது வயரை மறைக்கிறதுக்காக அப்படி பிளாட்டிங்
எப்படி எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். மைக் ஆஃப்ல தான் இருக்கு. மைக் ஆஃப்ல தான் இருக்கு. அதான் நெக் ஒடிக்குது. அது கொஞ்சம் அப்படி திருப்பி டர்ன் பண்ணா
அக்கா வந்த வேண்டிய அட்டன்ஸில் சைன் வாங்கிருந்தா அக்கா புஷ்பக்கடை சொல்லி எனக்கு மறந்துட்டாங்க.
ரிப்பீட் ஆகாது.
இதாவது வந்து இந்த வாட்டர் கேன் இருக்கு
இப்போ ஸ்பெஷல் பண்ணா
தெரியாது ஒரு இதுல XW என்னதான் கேக்குது. சரி ஒரு வரைக்கும் பாட்டு போட்டே இருப்பாங்க போலயே எனக்கு. அதுதான் ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டு
செபாஸ்டியன் சார். செபாஸ்டியன் சார், இப்ப ரெண்டு லிங்க்லயுமே சாங் கேக்குது. சிஸ்டர் என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னா, இந்த இந்திரா மேமோட ஸ்கிரீன், அந்த இந்திரா மேமோட பவர் பாயிண்ட் இருக்கும்ல, அதை ஷேர் பண்ணி பார்க்க சொன்னாங்க.
அப்ப இங்கேயும் ஆன் பண்ணா அங்கேயும் ஆன் பண்ணும், இங்கேயும் ஆன் பண்ணா அங்கேயும் ஆன் பண்ணும்.
டிஜேடி இங்க ஆன் பண்ணிருக்கேன், அங்க எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ஆன் பண்ணி. இப்ப பவர் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் பண்ணி.
செபாஸ்டியன் சார், செபாஸ்டியன் சார், இப்ப ரெண்டு லிங்க்லயுமே சாங் கேக்குது. சிஸ்டர் என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னா,
லேட்டே வரும்ல.
நம்மளோட ஸ்கிரீன், அந்த இந்திராவோட பவர் பாயிண்ட் இருக்கும்ல, அதை ஷேர் பண்ணி பார்க்க சொன்னாங்க.
எப்படிடா பாஸ் பண்றது? யூடியூப் பாஸ் பண்ணுங்க. இங்க ஸ்டாப் கொடுத்தா ஸ்டாப் தானே இருக்கு, எங்க பாஸ் இருக்கு? இது எங்க போய் நான் பாஸ் பண்றது? பாஸ் எங்க ஆப்ஷன் இருக்கு? எண்ட் ஸ்கிரீன் தானே இருக்கு. இது லைவ். இது இப்போ நம்ம 10:30 ஆரம்பிக்கும். அப்போ நம்ம அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ரெடியா இருக்கணும் அப்படிதானே? இப்போ நான் எப்படி யாருக்கும் சொல்லிட்டு வந்துட்டு அமைதியா இருந்துட்டு இது என்ன பண்ண எனக்கு தெரியல. பாஸ் எங்க இருக்கு? பாஸ் எல்லாமே வந்துட்டாடா. வேற யாருமே வரல பாரு, இப்பதான் மொத்தமே. வாங்க வாங்க. இப்போ ஒன்று சொல்ல, எல்லாரும் நிறைய பேர் வர ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க, கொஞ்சம் அமைதியா பேசுங்கன்னு சொல்லு. செபாசிட்ட கூகுள் மீட்லயே எல்லாம் வர ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்கன்னு சொல்லு.
செக் பண்ணணுமா திரும்ப?
ஆமா 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 பாட்டு சவுண்ட போட்டு சவுண்ட்
ரீசார்ஜ்ல ஆன்ல இருக்கா மைக்?
ஆமா எல்லாத்தையும் ஆகலாம். இந்த வண்டர்ஃபுல் டிவியோட ஆஃப் பண்ணிடுங்க. லைட் ஆஃப் வேலைல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க.
அப்படியே ஆன் பண்ணி பார்க்க போறேன். எப்படி இருக்கு?
எதுல நிப்பாட்டணும் சொல்லு. முன்னாடி இங்க கூட வண்டர்ஃபுல் துணி அதோட முடிச்சிரு. எதுல ஆரம்பிக்கணும்? இதுல ஆரம்பிக்கிறேன். இல்ல ஜீசஸ் எல்லாம் வேண்டாம். இதுல இருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணணும்.
எல்லாம் அட்மிட் பண்ணி பார்த்துருக்கேன். நீங்க பேசுங்க. ஆஃப் பண்ணுங்க மைக். அதுல 2 மைக் ஆன் பண்ணிட்டேன். இதுல ஆஃப் பண்ணுங்க.
கேட்கலங்கிறாங்களே. நான் ஆஃப் பண்ண கேட்க மாட்டேங்குன்னு சொல்றாங்களே.
XWL கேக்குது. ஆனா ட்ரை பண்ணல, கேட்கல.
கேட்கவே இல்லை.
இதுல யூடியூப் பார்க்க. ஷேர் ஆகுது.
சரி இப்ப கேட்டுச்சுல பாட்டு செபாஸ்டின்? ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரிங் பாட்டு எல்லாம் ஓகே தானே? எதுமா
2 மைக்ல ஆன்ல வச்சிருக்கேன்.
ஆன்ல வச்சிருக்கிற அப்படிதானே?
ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு பாட்டு மட்டும்
சரி இப்ப கேட்டுச்சுல பாட்டு செபாஸ்டின்? ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரிங் பாட்டு எல்லாம் ஓகே தானே?
இல்ல செகண்ட் லிங்க்ல கேக்கு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லிங்க் எனக்கு வந்து ஓபன் பண்ண முடியாது. செகண்ட் லிங்க் மட்டும் தான் பண்ணிக்க. இன்னொன்னுல யூடியூப் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன். யூடியூப்ல எல்லாரோட வாய்ஸும் கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கா. ஆமா சொல்லிட்டு வந்துட்டேன் போய். அவங்க வந்து சொல்றாங்க பாஸ் பண்றதுக்கு ஆப்ஷனே இல்ல. எண்ட் தான் பண்ண முடியும். எனக்கு அதனால என்ன பண்ண தெரியாம முழிச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். நான் மோனிகாட்ட விட்டு கொஞ்சம் அமைதியா எல்லாத்தையும் பேச சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன். அப்படியா?
Sebastian sir.
Yes. ஆடியோ பிளே பண்றது இல்ல. நேத்து எல்லாம் கரெக்டா இருக்கு.
நான் பண்ணல. ஐகியூஎஸ்சி நேக் ஐஜி நேக்கானே இங்கிலீஷ் கதை அதான் பண்ணல.
இது ஆஃப் பண்ணாத.
இது நான்
ரெண்டே
பண்ணல.
பண்ணக்கூடாது.
ரெண்டு மூணு இருக்குவா.
இந்த பிரசன்டேஷன் இருக்கலாமா, இதையும் ஆஃப் பண்ணக்கூடாது.
இது மைக்கே இல்லடா, அது மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு. அவன் நம்பர் அவன் பண்றான் பாரு. நான் எஸ்ஐசி ஒன்னு இருந்துச்சுல இங்க அந்த வச்சிருக்காங்கல்ல அந்த லேப்டாப், அதை மட்டும் தான் ஆஃப் பண்ணேன். எஸ்ஐசி ஒன்னு வச்சிருந்தான்ல.
இப்போ எந்த லிங்க்ல கேக்குது?
இதை மட்டும். இது செகண்ட் லிங்க்.
எக்ஸ்ட்ரா தான் கேக்குது. அதான் இந்த லிங்க்ல வந்து ஆஃப் பண்ணலன்னா கேட்கும். இது ஆஃப் பண்ணலன்னா கேட்கும்.
அது மைக்கே ஆன்ல இல்லடா. அது நீ வச்சிருக்கல அந்த பேர் மைக்கே இல்ல.
இந்த பிரச்சனை மைக் வந்து செட் ஆகாது. ஒரு லிங்க் செட் ஆகாது மைக்.
கம்பெனி இத ஏசி ஆன் பண்றே. எப்படி ஆன் பண்ணலாம்? ஹலோ ஹலோ ஸ்லா சொல்லுடா. ஆமா செக் தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அப்படி இருந்தா சரிடா. ஆமா. சரிடா பண்ணிட்டேன். பண்ணிடுறேன். இல்ல ஒன்லாம் தெரியாது. தெரியல. மேம் மேம் WA தான் நான் வந்து இதுல வேற கனெக்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அந்த இதுல யூடியூப்ல வேற நான் வந்துட்டு வருது வருது யூடியூப்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லிங்க் செகண்ட் லிங்க் தான் வரவா இங்க அட்மிட் பண்ணணும்ல. என்ன பண்ண ஒரு இதுல 21 அதுல 12 பேர் வந்துட்டாங்க.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, most respected Reverend Sisters, Fathers, and distinguished professors, a gathering of esteemed educators and scholars from diverse institutions. We are honored by your presence and grateful for the opportunity to learn from the experience and insights. It's our distinct privilege to welcome you to this collaborative faculty development program on quality assurance in assessment, NAAC compliance and beyond, organized by the IQACs of St. Ignatius College of Education and Western College of Education. Coming together in this shared environment, we honor the significant contributions you make in shaping the future through education, research, and community engagement. The passion and dedication are a source of motivation, and we look forward to an enriching exchange of knowledge and perspectives. We are committed to provide a warm, inclusive, and stimulating environment, and we look forward to your active participation. May our time together in enriching, enlightening, and joyful learning. Let us take a moment to connect with the divine within and around us. May our hearts be filled with love, our minds be filled with peace, and our spirits be lifted with joy by listening to this prayer song. As we begin this momentous occasion, it's my honor to invite Dr. Ezhilselvi, Vice Principal, Assistant Professor of History, to formally welcome you all and set the tone for this event. Ma'am.
Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Good morning to one and all present here. It is with great joy and privilege I welcome you all to this faculty development program on quality assurance in assessment, NAAC compliance and beyond, jointly organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cells of St. Ignatius College of Education, Palayamkottai, and Western College of Education, Chennai. This collaboration stands as evidence to our shared commitment to excellence in education. Thanks to God Almighty for His presence with us today. First and foremost, I would like to extend a special welcome to our esteemed patron, Reverend Sister A. Mary Celestina, ICM, the Secretary of St. Ignatius College of Education. Dear Sister, your steadfast dedication and visionary guidance are the cornerstones of our institution's success, and we are truly grateful for your presence with us today. Welcome you, dear Sister. Leadership is not about being in charge, it is about taking care of those in your charge. With immense pleasure and gratitude, I extend my greetings to Dr. N. Vijayan, President of MEDA, Major E.S. Daniel Gunanidhi, IAS, Vice President of MEDA, Reverend Father Ludusami Susai, SDB, Secretary of MEDA, and Engineer Mr. Joseph Reginald Isaac, Treasurer of MEDA. Dear leaders of MEDA, your visionary leadership and commitment have paved the way for this gathering. Welcome, dear patrons. True leadership is not about creating followers, but creating more leaders. With grateful heart, I take this opportunity to welcome our principal, Reverend Dr. L. Vasanthi Medona, ICM. Dear sister, your leadership, marked by wisdom and compassion, continues to inspire and uplift both our faculty and students. Welcome, dear sister. And it is my duty to welcome Dr. C. Serin Vinoka Snekalata, Principal of Medicine College of Education. Dear ma'am, your dedication to fostering an environment of growth and learning is truly inspiring. A warm welcome to you, dear ma'am. A great resource person is not just a source of knowledge, but a spark that ignites curiosity and inspires change. With this quote, I am happy to welcome Dr. R.Indra Mary Ezhilselvi, Controller of Examinations and Assistant Professor of Psychology, St. Ignatius College of Education, Palayamkottai, the resource person of the session. It is my honor to introduce Dr. R.Indra Mary Ezhilselvi, a distinguished educationist with over 25 years of teaching experience, including 5 years as a PG assistant in chemistry and 20 years in colleges of education. She has served as the principal of St. Joseph College of Education for a decade, contributing significantly to educational leadership. As an accomplished researcher, she holds an MPhil and PhD with research focused on the psychological aspects of education, including the dynamics of friendship and scholastic achievement. She has guided MPhil and MEd scholars and completed an institutional project on the socio-cultural awareness of gypsies. She is also a prolific author with 3 published books and holds an international innovation patent recognized by the Government of Australia. Beyond academics, she is a passionate orator and has participated in over 2,000 debates, contributing to both social and literary discourse. An active contributor to the community, Dr. R.Indra Mary has served in various capacities, including as an educational and psychological counselor, a resource person in numerous seminars, and a dedicated volunteer for causes related to children and women empowerment. She has received the Distinguished Educationist Award for the academic year 2021-22, a testament to her untiring commitment to the field of education and societal services. I am truly elated to have such an inspiring and accomplished resource person with us today. On behalf of the management and staff of both the institutions, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to you, dear ma'am. With delightful heart, I invite our respected secretary, Reverend Sister A. Mary Celestina, ICM, to honor our resource person with a memento. Thank you, sister. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our diligent IQAC coordinators, Dr. M. Maria Saroja, Research Director and Associate Professor of Biological Science, St. Ignatius College of Education, and Dr. D. Jemima from Western College of Education. Dear professors, your relentless mission of quality and excellence ensures that our institutions remain examples of educational distinction. Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. Welcome to your IQAC coordinators. The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. To all the distinguished faculty members and participants, I welcome you warmly. Your presence today signifies your dedication to advancing your skills and knowledge for the benefit of your students. Together, we will explore new ideas, share insights, and strengthen the foundation of education. As we begin this program, let us embrace the opportunities ahead and remember that learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. May this gathering ignite new ideas and foster meaningful collaboration among all of us. Once again, a warm welcome to this faculty development program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your warm words of welcome. I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to our Sister Principal, Reverend Dr. Ezhilselvi Merona, who has kindly consented to commence our faculty development program. Sister, your presence is a blessing, and we eagerly wait for your address, which will inspire and guide us throughout this program. Most welcome, Sister.
Dear and respected Reverend Sister Mary Celestina, the Secretary of our college, Dr. Vijayan, President, Major Daniel Gunanidhi, Vice President, Reverend Father Luke Sami, Secretary, and Engineer Joseph Reginald Isaac, Treasurer of MEDA, Dr. Sherin Vinokash Nekalata, Principal of Western College of Education, Chennai, Dr. R.Indra Mary Ezhilselvi, Controller of Examinations of our college, and today's distinguished resource person, Dr. Maria Saroja and Dr. Jemima, IKAC coordinators of St. Ignatius College of Education and Western College of Education, the organizing secretaries of this event, my dear faculty members and esteemed professors of Western College of Education, and dear revered professors gathered in the virtual platform, good morning and very warm welcome to each of you to this faculty development program. First and foremost, I am delighted to acknowledge that we have reached the 5th episode of this FDP, a collaborative initiative between St. Ignatius College of Education and Western College of Education. It's a privilege to address you all today at this event focused on quality assurance in assessment, NAAC compliance and beyond, organized by the IQACs of St. Ignatius and Western Colleges of Education. It's truly encouraging to see participants from all over India united by a shared dedication to elevating the standards of higher education in our nation. I am well pleased that Dr. R.Indra Mary Ezhilselvi, our Controller of Examinations, is serving as the resource person for today's session. With her extensive expertise, she is certainly well equipped to shed light on the vital topic of quality assurance in assessment. I am confident that her insights will provide us with valuable strategies and innovative approaches to uphold and enhance the standards of our assessment practices. Quality assurance in assessment is essential to preserving the integrity and credibility of our higher education systems. It ensures that assessments are not only fair and consistent, but also accurately reflect the learning outcomes we aspire to achieve. However, our focus must extend beyond mere academic knowledge. We must also evaluate the values students have acquired and how these values are applied in real-world contexts. Personalized assessments that consider each student's unique learning journey can offer deeper insights into their understanding and application of the subject matter. But by adhering to rigorous standards and engaging in continuous evaluation, we can identify gaps, refine our methodologies, and ensure that assessments truly reflect both students' knowledge and values. This unwavering commitment to quality not only sustains the trust of our stakeholders, but also drives innovation in teaching and learning. As we continue to navigate the evolving landscape of education, let us prioritize quality assurance as a cornerstone of academic excellence. By fostering a culture that empowers students, supports educators, advances our shared educational goals, we can make meaningful strides towards achieving our vision for higher education. Thank you all for your unwavering dedication and active participation. I eagerly anticipate the valuable discussions and insights that will emerge from today's program, confident that they will significantly enrich our understanding and practice of quality assurance in assessment. Wishing you all God's blessings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister, for your words of inspiration. With unbridled enthusiasm, we warmly welcome Dr. R.Indra Ezhilselvi, Controller of Examination and Assistant Professor of Psychology, as our esteemed resource person for today's faculty program. Ma'am, we are so thrilled to have you for sharing your expertise and insights and ignite a spark of inspiration that propels us towards academic excellence. Most welcome, dear ma'am.
Most respected representatives of the management of the pioneer colleges of education, St. Ignatius College of Education and Western Educational and College of Education and MEDA, as well as the most respectable professors who are online and also in the virtual platform to be a part of this faculty development program. The principal of the two esteemed institutions, our most respected Reverend Sister Vasanthi Madonna, for being a great source of inspiration to all the staff members here, and also motivating me and trusting me to be the resource person of this faculty development program. And also my beloved friend, Dr. Sharon, the principal of Western College of Education, and the respected IQAC coordinators of both the institutions, respected Madam, Dr. Maria Saroja and Dr. Jemima, and the most respected person for me who is always behind the great motivation and inspiration and also encouraging me always that I can do. The senior faculty, Dr. E.C. Punita, who is always giving me the inspiration that I can do, and she motivated me much in the preparation and also execution of this particular session. And I'm thankful for God Almighty for giving me this wonderful opportunity to stand in front of you. And dear members and delegates who are on the virtual platform and also being here, my heartfelt thanks and wishes and also greetings to you all. Standing here as the resource person for the 5th episode of the Faculty Development Program, which is a combined work of these two institutions, I'm happy to share a few ideas about the quality assurance in assessments, the NAAC compliance and beyond. What the NAAC expects from us, and also as a futuristic view in the futuristic panorama where we can move about all these we could discuss in this particular session. First and foremost, I think it is better to always have a structured idea so that it will be easy for us to frame where we are in the session in this particular faculty development program. So first, let us discuss where and what the NAAC parameters expect us to be, what all have to be focused when we go on for the next step, that is the binary system of accreditation, so that we can have a clear idea about where we are in this assessment for quality. So first, let us discuss about the assessment of quality, which is the assessment of quality of the institution. And then we can go on for what are the techniques and futuristic innovations that can be implied to improve the quality of assessment in our particular institution. So that here, the quality is the quality of the assessment, and also we are focusing on the quality of where our students stand by. So how far their educational system, what all the educational support we give to our students, how successful it is. All these will be considered in the second part. So we can go in by this way so that it will be facilitating us. Okay. Okay. So mentioning about the assessment of quality, considering the new metrics, it was not new for anyone who was here in this platform. Already Professor William Dharmaraja gave a clear idea about the revised NAAC metrics and also about the binary system. What are all the expectations? And passing over the switch over from the 7 criteria to 10 criteria, what are all the different metrics that is expected? So one by one, let us give a quick recap. So in the new metrics 5.3, it is mentioned about the assessment of quality. Quality assessment here, metrics 5.3 mentions the exclusively assessment. So as we know, all the affiliated colleges as well as the autonomous colleges are giving importance to the continuous evaluation system. So whatever work the students do, their efforts never go in vain. Always they are graded or they are giving grade or marks or somewhere or other. It is rightly recognized by the continuous system of evaluation. That may be CCE, continuous comprehensive evaluation, or CAA, continuous internal assessment. In either way, it is rightly recognized. So that when you come on to the various techniques the colleges are commonly adapting nowadays, it is the MCQ pattern. That is the multiple choice questions. Of course, you know, that's a very basic idea. So that the multiple choice questions, the university as well as UGC is giving focus to give more ideas about MCQ, because the time management, handling the questions, this does not only prepare the students for teacher education, oral for higher education, all the competitive exams are giving due importance to this multiple choice questions. So it will be comparatively a very good practice if the students become experts in preparing and answering MCQs. That improve their employability skills as well, so that it will be beneficial. Then coming on and talking about the case study, it is not just the case study as a matter of psychology to identify the weaknesses and strengths of our students. Instead, individual students, or it may be an institutional case study, to look into the strength and weaknesses and what are the gaps that have to be fulfilled. You can pinpoint the gaps, and you can also go for the research initiatives using a case study. So a case study will be helpful in all the ways, and whether all the institutions are giving due importance to conduction, and we are training the students to conduct case study. For that, assessment quality give importance. And then most of the countries are nowadays in the international aspect are behind open book examination. Not just open book examination. You can go on for variety of examinations like take-home exams. That is why in the criteria metrics itself, they have just given an etc. You can introduce or you can mention what all others a particular institution is adapting. That may be take-home examination or case study exams or simply a review. Likewise, the students can give their own ideas, and also the institution can guide the students to take up these examinations. And of course, it is already well discussed. We have in various platforms, we have talked a lot about the open book examinations. Of course, the open book examinations always create or make us or lead us to higher order thinking. So that a lot of verification the students can have. It may be notes or books or whatever material they can have. They can also have related literature with them. They can go through, compare. So they have a wide area to analyze and answer the questions. So they can answer a lot of whys. Why it appears like that? What is the basis for this idea? Likewise, they can discuss. And the challenge is truly lying behind the educators who have the challenge to design challenging questions. If the questions are not challenging, it is a direct question, there is no benefit in conducting an open book exam. So always, the real challenge in open book exam, in my personal point of view, it is in the hands of the educators who have to frame challenging questions. So the questions must be crafted as a complex scenario. And the students have to think a lot about that. So that the open book exams, of course, it is a very beneficial method to be adapted. Usually in teacher education colleges, as far as I know, there is no such scheme. But in future, we will be compelled to adapt such innovative practices because it is included in the new metrics. So that we have to go for it. And particularly talking about the portfolio, wherever the student stands, where the actual work of the student, the understanding or the performance, where it is, it can be represented in the form of a portfolio. Of course, undoubtedly, everyone will accept that. Having a portfolio for a particular student, that will be a perfect evaluation of the student performance. Because what are the demands will be given in any other type of assessment. But a portfolio, it can exclusively have what all the student has attempted to do, whether she is successful, she or he is successful in it. Everything will be discussed in this particular area. So a portfolio, it can be compared with the case report or a case history that is usually a patient, for a patient a hospital will have, isn't it? Just when we go for hospitals, they will be asking for the particular number you have registered there, and all the medications, all the medical histories of the patient will be there recorded in a case history. So that any doctor, duty doctor, who can look into it can be sure that whether it suits it or what are the past histories, everything. Likewise, if you are able to form a portfolio for a student in higher education, it is advisable because when they pass on to another semester or pass on to another college, it is possible for academic bank of credits. They can continue education in some other institution. If they go on for that, if they have a portfolio, what all are assessment they have gone, what all evaluation techniques they have experienced, what all practices they have done, whether it is theoretical, whether it is practical, all the things will be included in the student portfolio. So maintaining a portfolio for the student, whether in the digital platform or else it can be in the form of a file or a register, that is always advisable for ensuring higher education of their students. So that is acceptable. And then coming on to the other methods, we can pass on to the next metric. Okay, attribute 5 talks about teaching and learning. In it, metric 5.4 gives a review about or asks us about the continuous evaluation system, what all we will be following. Quiz with MCQ, case study, what are all the projects done by the students, individual projects, assignments, seminar presentations, self-assessment, peer assessment, and assessment of vocational skill. So talking about self-assessment, nowadays it is considered to be a very important part of assessment. Everyone have all the rights, matured and grown up higher education students have to. That is why nowadays students we are not calling them as students, and the higher education scenario insists us to call them as learners, because they learn. Learning is from within. That is the modification of behavior. They change by themselves. It is transformative. That is true higher education. Students, that takes its root from the word studious. When you teach, when you say something, they can easily catch up the point. So if the educator is verifying that, whether the student is catching her points, that simply aligns for a student. But in higher education, for lifelong learning, to ensure that, we have to consider a modification in behavior, a change from an inner transformation. So that is called as, we are insisting about evaluating the learners. So that here, it must be a self-assessment. They have to make it sure whether they can go for it or not. University of Bristol, UK. Yes, I read an article. This particular University of Bristol in UK, they have framed different ideas, and also there is a pooling of idea, and they have submitted a report about the self-assessment technologies. So that how we can make it possible. It can be a structured self-assessment. You can give prompts for the students. The students can think over whether you have analyzed, whether you have gone through, whether you have verified the data given. Likewise, a self-assessment structured feedback form or a structured form consisting of various prompts can be circulated to the students. The students can think over, and they can identify their own weaknesses and try to overcome them. That is called as a self-assessment practice. Or else you can let the students go without prompts. If the students are used up for that, if you have the assurance that they can think over by themselves, you can do it. Then talking about the occasional skills, assessment of occasional skills. Undoubtedly, all the teacher education colleges will be assessing the occasional skills in the name of teaching competence. So the teaching competence of the students are duly graded in their practical examination. It's a system. So definitely, we are analyzing the occasional skills. And occasional skills doesn't directly mean teaching skills alone. Occasional skills can be a teaching aptitude test. The college can go on for an interest inventory. We can analyze whether the student is particularly interested in this particular field. It may be an arts and science college or professional by NAAC. Okay, then next, looking into the criteria, the metric that focuses on the student outcomes, that is metric 8. Here, we have to assess how many students have gone for further education, that is higher education. In previously, it was mentioned as student progression. So that was in criteria number 5. Now it is taken to new metric 8, student outcomes. Whether the students are perfectly placed. Of course, as it is mentioned, the industry for a teacher education college will be the schools, so that how many of them have placement opportunities, how well they are employed. Here it is not just in schools. Wherever they can take up a job in a government sector or in a private sector. Likewise, they can have their own entrepreneurial skills so that they can go for self-employment. After completing a graduation in education, there is no compulsion. They can take up a work or a job, or they can place themselves in a school nearby. They can start their own school. So motivating the students to have their own school, or forming an academy, forming a tuition center, forming a center where such sharing up of ideas, pooling of ideas can be possible, wherever the students can choose or select a self-employment opportunity. so that all the academic progression and the placement of the students, so it is nearly the student support and progression, what we refer to as the criteria 5, has been transferred here in student outcomes. So all the competitive exams, not just within a particular state or within the central, just mentioned for verifying the educational competence or the vocational skill of teaching, all the competitive exams, whether our students are able to clear all the examinations, will be included in student outcomes. And talking about the student outcomes, here all the prizes, awards, and recognition, that may be a gold medal in the university level, or it may be a recognition given to the student for presenting a paper in an international conference or something. So that's the students who are rightly recognized for different prizes, awards, and recognition in curricular and extra co-curricular areas will be included. And the enrollment ratio. Usually the gross enrollment ratio will be calculated nationwide, GER. And the enrollment ratio, a possible institution can calculate how much we are allotted the number of seats and how much seats we can allot for the students' admission. And gross enrollment ratio is given more importance in the new metrics. It was not previously included. The particular reason for this assessment of quality may be the government has framed a policy based upon the recommendation of the UGC. It is yet to be recognized. It is in the draft form. They have aimed to achieve the gross enrollment ratio of 50% by 2035. Actually, in 2017-18 analysis, it was proved that, or it was found that 27.4% gross enrollment ratio is there. Gross enrollment ratio, it is nothing but the percentage of students who have enrolled themselves in any institution for higher education when it is compared with the total number of students who are age group of 18 to 20. The age group of 18 to 23 is expected to the age group of students for learners for higher education. So that's among the national population. How many have enrolled themselves in higher education? That is the gross enrollment ratio, and that we stand at 27.4 when the last survey was taken in 2017-18. It may be outdated nowadays. So that is an aim to take the next survey in 2035, and the expected enrollment ratio stands at 50% for India. Okay. Then, when we talk about student outcomes, we have to be very clear about the outcome-based education. Of course, most of the institutions nowadays have gone for outcome-based education. We are insisting about the objectives. What are the expected outcomes? How far we have matched with these objectives? We are doing mapping in the syllabus, in the question paper, and also in the analysis based upon the student achievements. We are going for learning outcomes. What all we have framed and how far it is achieved. That is called as outcome-based education. So that here we talk about the program objectives. Okay, outcome-based education, OBE, program objectives, and curriculum, course objectives or course outcomes. Then program educational objectives, that is the general objectives that we referred in the Herbash in the conventional type of lesson plan, and PSO program specific outcomes, what we expect from this particular information that we are giving. Metric 1.1 and metric 1.3, that's a measure for curriculum flexibility. Within as the course of study goes, when there is a response, there is a situation that arises, there is a basic need, then we can go on for curriculum flexibility, choice-based credit system. Of course, all the experts are there in this particular platform, so that it will be very kiddish to explain all these. You are always well-versed and you are experts. So keeping it in mind, I just go through all the metrics as a quick recap. So choice-based credit system for the entire program and academic bank of credits. And it will also be including the integrated programs. What all as institution has. They can integrate degree with the professional course. We can integrate UG with PG. Likewise, major and minor options, that is the specialization in a particular course, and open electives can be given for the students. Just instead of giving 2 or 3 electives and the students have to choose anyone, we can give open electives. The student can have their own choice. That can be in this institution or with another institution where we are tied. So that memorandum of understanding can be established so that the student can choose an elective in some other institution with the acceptance of the head of the institution and also, of course, the dean of studies, and they can proceed with that particular elective. And then the students of metric 1.4 that talks about the skill-based training, apprenticeship, and field work and internship. Internship can include apprenticeship as well. For a particular period of time after completion of the course, the students can go for an apprenticeship that can be included as a part of that particular program. Then metric 1.5, there is skill-oriented courses based upon the national curriculum framework. The national curriculum framework that can be national skills qualification framework, that is 1 to 4. The basic ideas are given that will be followed in schools. And NHEQF, obviously, National Higher Education Qualification Frameworks. So based upon these, we can frame the skill-oriented courses, and these courses can be given as credited, extra-credited, or non-credited courses to the students. So attribute 1, curriculum, gives a platform for outcome-based curriculum. So the outcome-based education can be of traditional nature, transitional nature, or transformational nature. In whatever way, all these objectives are being planned, and also keep it in mind, it can be redefined. So it can be framed or redefined. Okay, then talking more about this. Of course, outcome-based education, I needn't go to the details as I have mentioned now. So performance-based education has to be included. And the educational effectiveness of the system of education or the course details a particular institution is giving to the students can be measured based upon this outcome-based curriculum. That is the importance of this outcome-based curriculum. So here, that is, as I mentioned just now, it is the success lies in the designing as well as in the redesigning of the curriculum. And also instructional materials, what we choose, whether it is the traditional instructional materials, how far the learners and the students are influenced by the educators, and what are all the new implementation, the moderations, AA moderations that are included in that, the teaching methodologies, various adaptive techniques, and also both pedagogy and andragogy, and as well as the evaluation techniques that are conducted or included in this NAAC new proforma used for evaluation. Okay, so that's based upon all these ideas, we can switch over to the second part where we can go on for the assessment. How can we make it more effective? Okay. So far, we refer to the NAAC compliance, and going beyond this, what are the existing system of evaluation followed in various institutions we can have, and also where we can go up to certain prompting we can do. Nowadays, the system what we are following for outcome-based education, that was the system introduced based upon the revised Bloom's taxonomy, introduced in 1960s. So that this particular method includes, as we all know, knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of the course objectives and also the content. What are the material the students have to study? What is the course content to be covered? What are followed in the curriculum? Everything is expressed in this. And this system of outcome-based education is called as mastery learning. Not just sticking on to the basic level of thinking and cognition. Of course, cognition refers to recall, recognize, your memory, your forgetting, everything, your different thinking styles, giving due response to the different thinking styles of the students. This mastery learning is framed. That is application-based, isn't it? So that here this mastery learning is not just the one and only factor that has to be involved in outcome-based education. Going just beyond this mastery learning, outcome-based education talks about the need analysis. Before framing the curriculum, we have to go for need analysis. Need of the society, need of the all, and also need of the learners. That is called as need analysis. Most of the institutions, there is practice. Of course, I can give an assurance. Here in our institution, we give an entry behavior test to identify the needs of the learners. Then we go for analysis. So likewise, every higher education institution has to go for need analysis and find out and spot out where there is a gap and what is the need. So that has to be included in higher education. So the curriculum framework there must be a need analysis, and there will be innumerable number of needs that maybe, if it is identified, give it a priority index. Which one has to be satisfied, considering it as an immediate need. And the analysis, we can have a hierarchy so that one by one it will be satisfied, and introducing new courses, or else redefining or redesigning the existing course, or else omitting something. All these depend upon the priority index. So mastery learning, this is widely used in most of the higher education institutions. So furthermore, we have to go an extra step on an extra mile for need analysis and priority index. And overall, a course or curriculum or a program that is given by an institution must be a goal-oriented instructional program. That must be our idea. Goal-oriented instruction program must be followed in all higher education institutions. So that's, I was really impressed to listen to the inaugural address given by our respected principal. She mentioned that a personalized assessment must be there in all the institutions to prune the overall well-being and the holistic development, to ensure the holistic development of the students. Truly, it is very impressive. And often I have heard this particular term from our principal. Whenever regarding the conduction of examinations and also revising the scheme of examination, when we sit for a talk, when we pool the ideas with the senior faculty, she used to mention, just assessment must not be grade-based or based upon the questions and answer, what they learn, what they give out in their examination. It must be improving a person by themselves. So that nowadays, it's an age of information, so that we have a lot of information. The way the students sit in a class conveys us indirectly one thing. Just give us the syllabus. We can refer elsewhere and we can prepare for the examination. So what is the role of a teacher? Teachers, teacher educators, now we have become as a facilitator. What is the right platform to find all these information? Whether it is authentic or not, there we have to play our role. So as students have taken up the role, there's a paradigm shift. They have moving towards learners, moving towards as learners. So teacher educators or higher educators have to move towards a facilitator. So all the students have lots of information. They gather a lot, so that big brains are there. But the hearts are becoming so small. So that is the importance. Always I feel that it's a very good, personally, it's a morale, teaching morale, that every teacher has to adapt that. It must be a value-based assessment. So I'm not quite sure whether this value-based assessment will be considered by NAAC for quality assessment. But to improve the quality of the humanity, whole human mankind, we have to go for it. So instead of big head and small hearts, we can maintain a balance between the heart and the brain. So that value-based personalized assessment, if wherever it is possible, we have to implement it. Okay, so that in the previous sessions itself, we came across a particular interaction asking about the central government giving a national education policy and the state education policy, how far it differs. which will be more helpful for the system of education for future learners. Likewise, there was an interaction going on. Being a proud participant of all these FDP, I can talk about it.
No.
Okay, so that I'm not quite sure which one will suit. So that I don't trust the PM regarding this national education policy or CM for the state education policy, but I'm sure our VM will take up care of it. That is Dr. Vasanthi Madam, as she mentioned in her inaugural address. The assessment scheme, the system of education, the program planning for higher education, everything must be having a focus on value-based assessment. So let us keep this in mind and go for further possibilities where we can go on for further system of assessments. So modification and transformation can be brought about by different focusing assessments. Okay. So coming on to the second part, as I have mentioned while starting this session, we talked about quality assessment. Now we can talk about the quality of assessment. So we are adapting different assessment techniques, different assessment modes, and all these have the assurance that all the methods we follow are reliable, accurate, consistent, repeatable. Often we must not be changing the system or pattern of examination. So that once a scheme of examination is assigned, it must be repeatable. It must be followed for a particular period of time so that the students as well as the educators will be having a clear idea of that type of assessment. And also if you go for an online assessment, all the learners, you must be sure that that is feasible for the students in terms of time, resource, whether it is accessible, the student number, and it must be having a definite impact on the system of education. And authentic and worthwhile assessment techniques have to be followed, and there must be variety. Of course, you know the span of attention is going on decreasing for the digital natives. All the students we have now in our classrooms are techno-savvies. So that comparatively it is said that the the attention span of the learners of today, that is the adolescents, having the attention span lesser than a goldfish, they say. Often it goes beyond, they go on to the marginal attention and they come back because they want quick, fast. What next? They go for. They are not having the patience for watching a video for 20 to 30 minutes. They skip it. They go for fast forward for 30 seconds, another 30 seconds, and a 22 seconds video is finished within 10 to 11 minutes. They go for shorts. They go for reels. That is within 1 to 1.5 minutes. Even for entertainment, they couldn't sit patiently for 1 or 2 minutes. Then what about a classroom? The teacher has to post a lot of variety for them, isn't it? So go for a lot of varieties in your methodology, teaching, learning materials, in the content what you provide, everything. There must be interaction, there must be changes, there must be variety, and all these must be having a perfect balance. Not just for the entertainment or making the student, providing the valid content for them. We can't go along with them, going on, enjoying with them, and along with that, there must be a perfect balance. So that's inclusion and belongingness. They must have a feel that it is for my wellness. It is for my good. I'm doing this for my good. I have to be benefited. And of course, this benefit, I have to give back to the society at large. They must be having an idea. That is called as inclusion and belongingness. So everyone have an equal opportunity. Of course, we are talking about an inclusive and equitable educational scenario for all the people around the globe. So wherever it is, wherever there is knowledge, I must be able to get it. I must not be denied of that opportunity. It may be beyond the boundaries. It can be beyond my reach. But there must be a system allowing me to access it. That is an inclusive and equitable society, and multiple modalities are there. So nowadays, what are all the systems that are followed? Let us have a look, and then we can go on for the futuristic, innovative approaches that can be a valid suggestion to be included on all the institutions or else in our personal platform. Okay, so the high quality online assessment strategy was a question that is nearly 2 to 3 years before, during the long lockdown period. All the teacher educators as well as the higher education educators and the school teachers, or simply I can talk about the teachers, they had a challenge to switch over to offline to online mode. Of course, science says it takes millions of years for a transformation in a particular living species. Millions of years. Of course, our IQAC coordinator is an associate professor in biological science, so that I can talk much about in her presence, so that it takes millions of years for a transformation. But considering teachers, we are not given enough ample time. Just within 15 days, we switched over to an online mode. I think everyone will be remembering that, isn't it? So that apart from the years of experience, 20 years or 25 years or 30 years of experience or just 1 year or 2 years, we immediately, the only living beings, that is the teachers, have this particular ability for a switchover within a very short period of time. It is really a medical miracle, I suppose. So that easily we switched over. So at that time, there were wide researches about the online assessment strategies. So conducting classes were having access to the students and meeting them, and online the classes were conducted. And there is a lot of problem regarding the pattern of assessment. Coming on to assessment, who can give an authentic or give the assurance that all the examinations are perfectly planned and executed? That is not just in the point of view of the teachers, or else in the part of institutions. How the students responded? What is the response of the teachers? Likewise, when the problem arose, the University of Regina, which is a public university of Canada, trained certain parameters so that the online assessment strategy, how it can be very successful. At that time, they gave more importance to the learning outcomes. Even during online assessment or evaluation, you have to focus upon the course learning outcomes, and all these have to be assessed whether it is successfully attained or not. So that incorporating the principle of equity and inclusion. Because we have to consider whether the particular student resides in a particular province. In Canada, it's a province. In India, it's a state. And in Australia, it is territory. So that the education system and the facilities available for the students vary from state to state, city to city, territory to territory. Likewise, province to province. So there is wide and a vast difference in making all these possibilities. So you have to consider a global scenario. A global outlook must be there. So that we have to consider, is it applicable for all the students? So that equity and inclusion have to be considered, and specific measurable outcomes have to be framed. And while framing every single outcome, you have to have an alarm in your mind whether it is measurable. If I try to measure it, will it be impartial without any biases? Likewise, you have to decide and then fix the learning outcome. So the expected learning outcome can be successfully attained if you go for a mapping. So through mapping system, the educator can attain the learning outcomes. And you have to frame, identify performance standards so that the expected educational outcomes or course or program outcomes are attained by the learners. Then only you can give that assurance. So identify the performance standards and then go for it. Okay, then talking about the further existing system, the course learning outcomes can be attained through both assessment strategy and assessment criteria. But the assessment strategy and assessment criteria are interdependent. If you change the strategy, sometimes the criteria may not be satisfied. So how can I choose the right strategy? Of course, you know it is uncountable. Wide varieties of strategies are there, and which one suits my need, which one suits the need of my institution, which one suits the learners of our particular area. How can I decide based upon the assessment criteria? What all I have to go for? so that the learning outcomes will be achieved. Likewise, when I change the assessment criteria, I have to go for a different strategy. If you want to measure an interest or attitude, of course, I have to go for a standardized tool. I can't frame it by myself for time to time. So that here again, the assessment criteria and an assessment strategy, they go for each other. And both have to reflect the course learning outcomes. So that here, the different methods that are attained are. Okay. So I can take some time for the international outlook as well. I think it permits. So that is why I refer to the time. Of course, it permits. Okay. In USA, standardized tests and common core standards are available for the students for their higher education testing. And also in their school, the assessment procedure goes as such. In UK, General Certificate of Secondary Education is followed at the age of 16, and A-level examination at the age of 18, and national common tests will be conducted at the ages of 7, 11, and 14. This particular examination of age level 14 gives you the assurance of the level of the students, and based upon that, at the age of 18, they go for a certification examination for school education, and they enter into the university education. Okay. And then in Finland, of course, you know that it is the most acceptable, and all the countries are longing for to have education based upon this particular country's educational system. Educationists often have a visit to this institution, to the various institutions of this particular country, and have a wider outlook of the global opportunities. So that here, standardized testings are minimal, and they go for holistic assessments. Particularly what we are talking about few more minutes before, the value-based assessment, this is given importance. How a person's character is, how a person assigns certain qualities within, all these are assessed in Finland, and there is completely teacher autonomy. The teacher is free. There is no regular or a pattern or a scheme of examination. The teacher has autonomy based upon the demands of the course, content, and also the requirements and needs of the particular student. Even within a classroom, the teacher can go for 2 different types of tests. It is allowed in Finland. So that is called as teacher autonomy. The teacher can choose a particular pattern or method so that they can follow it. And in Japan, high stakes entrance exams. Of course, you know, people are a little bit, Japan is leading in making humanoid robots. So they want to implement the human characteristics to a robot. But actually what is going on there? People are getting robotic experiences. They are becoming like machines. In the reverse, it is happening. So high-stake entrance examination. So whatever it is, higher education or for school examination, there is regular testing taking place, and more standardized examinations are taking place in Japan. And in China, there is a general examination system for all the UG courses. And of course, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, so I just leave it in the visual presentation. China, there is a common examination that is allows them for all the undergraduate courses. Then there is frequent testing, and also the core subjects are focused. If there is a specialization, you can go on for individual institutional assessments. There is no common testing for specialization. Then in Australia, that's the NAPLA, National Assessment Program is followed. And of course, it varies from territory to territory, because the natives of Australia, the aborigines, are in a particular territory. They are all having basic education only in recent times. So we can't expect the same outcome from another territory where there is an advanced system of education. The students will be having international exposure there. So that from territory to territory, the course content as well as the evaluation system, the assessment patterns, everything varies. So admission ranking, though this examination is one, they have different admission ranking for territory-wise, so that there are diverse approaches are introduced. In Germany, It is the college preparatory final exam teaching system is there. And then in South Korea also, scholastic ability test, that is a common test for all the admissions. And in Canada, there is no national standardized testing system. It is based upon different provinces. So that every province, it is relatable to the state educational policy that is followed in our country. So likewise here, from province to province, they will be having a system of evaluation in Canada. Okay. Then talking about the strategies that are in practice nowadays are the assessment cycle. When you complete one particular assessment, that is for schooling. So completing the course in schools, the final examination, and then the assessment cycle moves you based upon the ranking, based upon the grade, based upon the achievement in that particular test. They will go on for the different courses, and their assessment proceeds them to the higher education. There they can go on for specialization. So this is called as an assessment cycle. And then usage of rubrics. Of course, to overcome partiality and biases, always it is preferable to have rubrics in all the system of evaluation. In most of the institutions, we have assignment or task assessment, and simply we go on for, the teacher will be giving a grade, or the teacher will be giving marks for that. Our graded system usually refers to 4 or 4.5 out of 5, likewise you can give a grade. But though it is subjective, of course we have to accept, can we give the clear discrimination between assignments that is graded with marks 4 and 4.5? Where the difference lies? What brings about that 0.5 difference? Of course, in a system where we depend upon competitive exams, and also for this new system of getting employment or whatever it is, here we have to look for each and every 0.1, 0.5, every mark counts, isn't it? Even 100 gram counts. We know the value, how much each value is greater, isn't it? So that then, here in the assessment system, of course, 0.5, how can you fix the grade? If it is a rubric system, you can give the students, when you are assigning the assessment or the task assessment or the assignment, you can give a framework. If there is an introduction, the student will be given these many marks. And in the introduction, what are all expected? Within how many words? How much? Whether you go for definition, or whether you want to explain what the personal intention of the learner for writing this particular assessment. Likewise, what is expected you must be giving clearly in the rubrics. Now think in the point of view, you can clearly explain the explanation between two assignments are being graded 4 and 4.5. In this particular criteria, it varies. Likewise, we can explain very clearly. So that is the benefit of including rubrics in assignment or in general assessment. So where and what are all expected will be explained. That is the usage of rubrics. And then criteria must be very clear and direct. Simply, that must not be ambiguous. Everyone looking into it in different point of view must not be having a different understanding. It must say one and only one meaning. That must be very clear. And then all the assessment must be performance-based, and there must be opportunities for interaction, peer interaction. That is in the form of group discussion. It can be in the form of a panel discussion. There they can be given some space for having their interaction. The peer within themselves, they can go for a think tank session. All of them being in the same grade of understanding, they can sit together, they can come to a final idea. The overwhelming, what are all the superior ideas or the higher order thinking levels they gain, they can put it together. So all these will be gained in a peer interaction. Then there can be a teacher-student interaction. It can be in an interview method. It can be as a focus group discussion. Likewise, they can sit together and finally, or a panel discussion. A panel of experts can be there. They can be discussing the new ideas with the learners. They can clarify their doubts. Everything can be given enough opportunities so that the assessment of the student understanding will be clear if these strategies are followed. Likewise, learner response system, that is nowadays even the NAAC has SSS survey, isn't it? Student satisfaction survey. Likewise, the learner has to give a response, whether I am satisfied or not, whether I find it easy or not, whether it is informed me earlier or not, whether I have ample time for preparation or not, whether it is clearly explained for me or not, whether I am able to get the resources or not. Likewise, the student can give their satisfactory survey, or it is called as a learner response system. And also, it can be structured or unstructured. You can plan and you can frame, you can prompt the students, find and give responses in this particular area, or it can be an open-ended response sheet. The student can go for their will and wish. Then multiple data resources can be included. Nowadays, of course, it is a date of information age, and it's a date of technological advancement, so that data-driven improvement can be given. All the data have to be fed into, so that no tampering. Nothing can be done with the basic data. If you want to go for an analysis, everything is ready, stored. For 2 years back or 3 years back, 3 years data, of course, it is data-driven and it is safely stored. No, nothing can be done with the content that is already stored. So no chance for not allowing particular thing to enter into as new data. So everything will be authentic. So you can make it sure. So data-driven improvement, then self-assessment, peer assessment. Of course, self-assessment is done based upon the different prompts given by the educators. Peer assessment, that is, peer assessment is very good because it gives enough space for constructive criticism. So within the students, they go and they can share their ideas, so that improvement is much possible in peer assessment. So peer assessment, they can give a grading, then design meaningful tasks for the students. That must be relevant. So in institutions like our institution, they give us guidance for framing task assessment suitable for each and every unit. If the syllabus has 5 different units, every particular unit will be having a relevant task. And the student have all the rights to choose any 3 task assessment among these 5. So definitely, as the task is not given separately, the task is previously assigned. And of course, it is curriculum-wise, it is flexible. You can change a little bit when the some current issues arise, you can change it. But still, it will be relevant to the content matter given, so that it will be meaningful tasks have to be assigned. And this must be including real, well, and skill enhancement, so that it must be giving an assurance for that. A task assessment, which is given in the form that the student must be having a skill of assessing or going through a review of related literature. They can give a feedback. This will be implemented when they go for further research or projects, isn't it? So that skill enhancement or real world problems must be included in these multiple type of assessment. Then balance, we have to maintain a balance between graded and ungraded assessment. If the assessment simply goes as an ungraded assessment, students will be losing their interest in getting sitting for examination. If it is a graded examination alone, the students will be prone to exam anxiety. They will be wondering whether writing for all these examination or not. So that always the University of Ontario, they mention more about this ungraded assessments. So partial answers and partial review, a colloquium can be considered as an ungraded assessment. We can go on. We can check where we stand in the pathway and go more for it. Okay. And next we can go on for furthermore external review and benchmarking. So all these assessment techniques, what we are talking about in the past 4 slides, all these represent what are the common assessment practices that are in practice in the present day in different educational institutions. But here we can go on for this, not within the institutions. It is between the institutions or among the institutions. We can have a support group. The support group may be a learning group. As I mentioned, the learning group may be the evaluation system. That is open electives. We discussed a few minutes ago. There is the open electives that may be in some other institution. You can have a tie-up so that it will be graded by an educator in another institution. So that is called as a supporting group. That is a learning group. In learning, they help you. Likewise, for the improving the quality of the institution, an institutional support can be given. All the institutions who are pioneers, likewise, Meston College, likewise, here, Ignatius College of Education, they can sit together and go for the beneficial paths, the innovative approaches they adapt. They can go for the benchmarking system so that if it is applicable, if it is accessible for the particular institution, we can adapt it so that it can be support groups as learning groups or as the institutional support. So external review can be given and benchmarking system can be adopted. Okay, then for looking into the futuristic goals, you have to always think forward. Forward thinking is very important, isn't it? Because the changes are not coming down in millions of years or years. It is not just an academic year. All the changes that come in this fast changing world or this technical world, all the changes come within a fraction of the second. It is not just introducing the technical effects. It is invasion of technology. That is what I personally feel. Within a very short period of time, all these have become a part of our learning. All these have become part of the educational system. So all these, it is actually invasion of technology. You can't control it. You have to go with it. We have to accept it. If you're not able to adopt, you lag behind. If you're not able to adapt, you will be outdated. So that you have to adopt, you have to adapt, and you have to go with it. It is a part and parcel of the education system. So if I want to say myself as an educationist, I have to have a clear understanding about what may be the next step, what may come. Likewise, I have to think. I clearly remember in 2006, I was there for the defense of my PhD Viva was. At that time, in 2006, I simply don't call my guide as a professor. He is a person who is saying prophecy. I used to feel like that. He said that definitely you must be giving a PowerPoint presentation for that. At that time, in 2004 to 2006, there is no such system. We simply go on for a defense. But he mentioned that one day, all the B.Ed students will be learning about PowerPoint. They will be preparing it just like anything. At that time, will you be outdated? So that you have to learn about that. Then come for my Viva. So when I was sitting there, so I went for learning more about this system. What are the different patterns of visual presentation? I prepared myself. Then only he was willing to go on for my Viva. So likewise, that was useful for me. From the basics we started at that time. So we can go on with the technological improvisation nowadays. Isn't it? So that this is called as forward thinking. Only certain persons and all the educators must be improvising themselves with all these techniques. So they have to go with this forward thinking. They have to think a lot, the leveraging technology into the assessment techniques. And of course, these techniques must be going with the diverse needs of all the learners, not just for the toppers. There must not be one called as a topper. There must not be one as an underachiever. There must not be a person mentioned or labeled as slow learner. It is not labeling a person. If you find someone having some learning difficulty or learning diversity, then you go on for an alternative approach, not just label them. Go for an alternative approach. Then focus on real world skills. A teacher going beyond the pedagogy and andragogy must be well versed in classroom management. Managing a class, having emotional dilemma or emotional problems of students of this particular generation. They must understand them. Understanding the learners plays a very important role. So focus on real world skills. And then AA-driven adapted assessments must be followed undoubtedly. So that the learning trajectories must be based upon machine learning and data analytics. Deep learning, machine learning have now become an inevitable part of teaching learning process. So every teacher must be dealing with heart and soul of the learners and also the technical brain within them. So both, there must be a balance maintained for the futuristic assessments. So AI algorithms have to be a part of this assessment techniques, so that these algorithms will be assessing the student improvement. So as the exam goes, it will not be the same online evaluation for all the students. The AI is incorporated into it, isn't it? That gives an adaptive methodology when the student is giving quick responses, apt responses, advanced responses. You can go on for 2 or 3 basic questions can be skipped over and they can go on for a higher order thinking question assessment. Or else, if the student lags behind, some remedial exercises can be given within. The AI algorithm decides that. You cannot say. You can assign it, adaptive methodology, but you need not assign. For each and every student, as you give personal attention for a student in the classroom, it will be a personal attention for the student in the assessing methods as well. So here, supplementary materials or remedial exercises or real-time feedback will be given by AA algorithms. That is called as AA-driven adaptive assessments. Then you can also have blockchain for credentialization. So it is any credential, academic credential, it is connected with blockchain. So there is no way for tampering. So it is not for the access of one person. If you want to tamper it or to change it, it is not decided by one person. It is like different loops or linkages, so that the management, the experts, and also the whole system is interlinked, so that that will not be immutable. If you have to submit the internal marks within a particular period of time, if a teacher delays, a human person can wait. But it is blockchain technology. If one person haven't submitted, all the 4 will proceed. It proceeds with it. So it is immutable. You can't stop. Likewise, it is tamper-proof. There is no way to change or alter. It is universally accessible. Wherever you are, wherever, in whatever situation, you can go on for verifying the particulars. So that it is also valuable for anywhere. So that the student continuing education elsewhere, it is possible. And micro credentials are included, not just 1, 4 marks or 5 marks. It includes each and every different aspect is given importance. So micro credentials are also included. Then for improving the interest of the students, gamification techniques. Most of the educators are well versed in these gamification techniques nowadays. So these can be adapted so that a variety can be given. Then peer and self-assessment. We have discussed a lot about that earlier. And then furthermore, collaborative tools. You can have different collaborative tools for framing. Collaborative tools nowadays we have in usage. The Jira, Airtable, Confluence, Monday.com, Padlet. Of course, most of the educators will be using Kahoot, Google Drive. Even Google Classroom is a collaborative platform, isn't it? Technology, and there we can collaborate. Who all can collaborate? The learner, the teacher, the educator, the management, or an educator from yet another institution. If we invite them to be a part, they can join, they can share their valuable resources, isn't it? So that these collaborative platforms will help assessment. So once it is there, if you open a particular collaborative platform, you can give assurance. What is a particular task submitted by the student? On what basis you gave this assessment? It will be there for years together. So whenever you want it, you can give the assurance. There will not be any complications or controversies that can be prevented. Then AI moderation techniques. That is AI moderation based on statistical algorithms. So that you adapt an assessment technique that is framed by the educator. But further, it will be moderated by the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence being a part and parcel of the institution. So within the limits where the management permits, this AI moderation can be included in various assessment technologies so that it uses the data that is previously fed. And the statistical algorithms impartially, there is no exam biases, there is no partiality. So all are reliable information. So that machine learning that can predict future outcomes based on the historical data that is being fed. So that AI moderation can be included in assessment techniques. Then project-based and portfolio assessments. So portfolio you can include, that is not the basic requirement. It goes beyond. What all the student individually out of interest or out of it, their external or provisions that are provided by the family background or from another institution, they can create, they can do more. If there's a basic necessity that 2 online courses have to be completed, that comes in the requirements. But the student has completed 1 more course elsewhere, is capable of doing that, include that in the student portfolio. Likewise, so the assessment varies based upon projects and portfolios. Then immersive classrooms or immersive examinations, including augmented reality and virtual reality. If I want to check the teaching competence of my student in 2024, I have to take them to a classroom. I have to get permission from the model school. Though the model school is within the premises, I have to get the permission from the management. I have to look into the facility or the how far it is possible for the particular class teacher. I have to give an introduction for the students, learners as well. So likewise, lot of problems may arise in a real life situation. It takes some time. But if I want to create a classroom in future, an immersive examination can be conducted. Within no time, I can create a classroom here. A classroom having extraordinarily intelligent students. A student who is having lot of doubts. A student who is capable of studying in their own pace. I can likewise form a classroom, which may be an augmented reality or virtual reality. I want to check the teaching competency. Yes, it's there. I can make the particular virtual learner to ask questions in such a way to bring out my expected learning outcome. I want to measure whether my student is capable of classroom management. Then I can make 2 individual learners who are digital learners. They can have a fight within themselves. They can go for an argument. The teacher can solve the issue, problem. I can assess the issue. If it is in an immersive classroom situation, within no time it is possible. Nowadays, we can think that, will it be a reality? Can we have augmented reality lab in every college? Is it possible for virtual reality classrooms in every college? Of course, that is forward thinking. One day it will be possible. If I'm asked for in 2000, will you be able to meet the faculty of Meston College who are in Chennai and give a session or a faculty development program you are attending together? At the same time, you will be in Tirunelveli and the people in Chennai will be hearing that. I will be saying, that is not possible. Because that is not actually possible in 2000. For me, up to my age, I think like that. But in 2024, it is possible, isn't it? So definitely one day, these immersive examinations and augmented reality and virtual reality classrooms will become a reality in all higher education institutions. So data analytics helps you for predictive analytics as well. So that in future, what is the gap within? So what may be the need? What will be the futuristic goal? So what can you expect? How can you stand out of others? When all the institutions go for a particular pattern of examination or assessment, how can you be unique? Of course, it's a basic fact. What I have a strong belief that no one is inferior to anyone. No one is superior to anyone. And also no one is equal either. Everyone is unique. So we have all the responsibility to prove that. It may be myself or my institution or any individual institution have to prove how I am unique than others. So that how I stand out. Likewise, the predictive analysis of data analytics will be helpful for you in bringing up this as a possibility. Okay, then the holographic assessments, especially in the medicine field, instead of getting in touch with directly with the patients, because when you are going for assessment for a medical student, usually it is mentioned that it is not ethical because you are playing with the personal feeling of a person. You are entering into the privacy of a person. So that instead, you can have a holographic image. Likewise, online assessment. Sometimes there will be problem with clarity. There will be problem with accessibility. Likewise, it goes, isn't it? So the examiner who is somewhere in the globe can be there in your hall asking you questions for a viva. So a viva examination can be conducted using a holographic figure. So a hologram gives you a feel that a person is actually present in front of you, but they may not be a real person. It is made possible. Holographic assessment. Then cognitive load monitoring. Of course, this is, as an assistant professor of psychology, I love this particular monitoring assessment technique. Cognitive load monitoring refers to that is sometimes in our classrooms, beyond verbal communication, there is some non-verbal communication, isn't it? Like this, the body language expresses a lot of things, isn't it? So, individual differences are outspoken when certain students will be having the capability or capacity to get more ideas. But one of the students may be unable to, will be having some time to process these ideas, then go for a new idea. If in such a classroom system, if you are monitoring the cognitive load defines here the student is not able to access anymore. The student can stop the class with that ideas, and then they can take their own time. And the teaching will be continued by recording or assessing the teacher's class after some time. That is learning at their own pace. That is cognitive load monitoring, whether the student is able to go with it or not. Then AI-powered tools. Nowadays, a lot of AI-powered tools. Even nowadays, we are having them in usage. Chatbots, Quillbot, Otter AI, Grammarly, Canva, then few more. Curipod, Defit, Quizlet, 360 Learning, then Duolingo, Turnitin. Most of us are using that. All these are AI-powered tools. So that advanced AI-powered tools will be introduced in future, and natural language processing tools. A lot of tools, including IBM Watson, Amazon Comprehend, then TextBlock, Gensim, Spacey, then Core NLP. That is a valid natural language processing tool used nowadays. So that different tools can be used. And ethical AI proctoring. And when I suggest furthermore tools that can be used in future, I want to stand with this point. All the AI proctoring must be ethical, so that you must give the assurance that it is privacy conscious. We cannot give up in the name of technology. We cannot go for technology, giving up or compromising with the human value system. So there must be privacy consciousness, and everything must be transparent. So when we say that it prevents biases, it prevents tampering, you must also be transparent. And then it must assure lifelong learning and assessment. And instead of just measuring the IQ, nowadays everyone realizes the importance of EQ, isn't it? Emotional quotient. So where, how far, how I have to do, how far can I go with this particular person? This emotional quotient has to be assessed. And social quotient must be measured. So that emotional and social intelligence assessment must be made possible. Different assessments have to be included in higher education. Then soft skills evaluation. What are all the techniques a person has to work as a team? That has to be assessed. How a person has the capability to handle a problematic situation, that can be assessed. So instead of going for measurement of IQ, everything, emotional, social, and the soft skills have to be assessed. That have to be an integral part of futuristic assessment. That is a basic necessity. And also, I want to share just an experience, personal experience, and wind up this session. That is the AI emotion recognition. Okay, so in assessment technologies, we usually look into the verbal, non-verbal, and the body language and all the how the student responds, isn't it? Here, in 2023, my college gave me an opportunity to go for DIDAC exhibition that was conducted in Bangalore. That was exclusively for the futuristic innovative approaches in teaching learning process. In one of the stalls, we had an interactive session and a program. They even gave me a certificate for that, for attending that particular session. Okay, I must be thankful for the management for giving me that opportunity. Though I'm not well versed in technology, they believed to send me there for this futuristic innovative teaching learning platform. There, this AI emotion recognition style, that was a classroom set. So the students will be answering the tutor or educator from elsewhere, an expert will be connected. We will be giving responses to them. And continuously, the AI monitor will be monitoring our facial expression and the tone. So that when we go for it, we are unaware of that. It is keeping a continuous monitoring. So the expert is asking something. He's a native speaker. And I hesitated. I can get the point, but I cannot explain it clearly. But anyhow, he asked, do you understand? Okay, I said, okay. Yes, sir. Then the AI is giving me the input. Your tone represents that. You are not more clear about that. But you are hesitating to say it to your tutor. So that, dear tutor, you can explain it once again to her. Likewise, the AI interfered and it mentioned. It is reading our expression. You are feeling tired, it seems. You are not interested in this particular topic. Can I change the topic? Likewise, it is having an interaction. So it is sitting along with the learner and the tutor. And the tutor, it is educating what is the need of the learner. And for the learner, it is giving us a comfort. Like a parent always being with us. And what all we cannot directly say to the tutor, it serves as a bridge. That was really a wonderful experience being there. So likewise, in future, everything will become a possibility. And in all the assessment techniques, we can include these AI interventions. So I'm really happy to have this. And there are a lot of global collaboration platforms now. Having a tie-up with global institutions, we are all used up for that, and continuous feedback loops. That is what AI expects us, or what the futuristic technology expects us. It must be a immediate feedback have to be given. So whenever you go for, likewise, a student submitting an assessment for assignment for assessment in Google Classroom, the simplest way I can mention. There, the feedback can be immediately given by the teacher. Immediately we can give return back it to the student for further improvement, and they can send it back or resubmit. So predictive quality analytics gives you an outline about where is the gap for improvement, what you have to do. Likewise, we can go and crowdsourced quality validation. It is not a group, it is a crowd. So it is not pre-framed. It is not a curriculum development cell, or it is not a board of studies. You can go for wider inputs. So pooling of ideas from elsewhere from the globe. That is called as crowdsourced quality validation. Anyone can give you the benchmark. They can share their best practices with you, so that this intelligent automation being a source for further assessment includes a very important technique for assessment in future. So there are a lot of furthermore, and as time prevents us. Okay. There is no other go. I have to wind up here. And thank you for the wonderful opportunity. And I'm ever grateful for the management and the administration of Meston College of Education for trusting me in giving this opportunity. Thank you, one and all. And this also gave me ample space for me to go through all these and get enough ideas. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The captivating presentation with a clear explanation on quality of assessment, quality assessment, international outlook, and the strategies and the future goals. Thank you so much. Dear participants, do you have any queries regarding this presentation?
Dr. R.Indra, congratulations. And you have beautifully explained how to enhance the quality of assessment. So I have a doubt, madam. And you have beautifully explained what are the strategies to enhance the assessment process. So there are different assessment techniques like self-assessment or peer team assessment like that. But in slide number 17 I told so, there is a technique which is called as ungraded assessment. So normally when you conduct the exam to assess the students, so if you conduct the technique called ungraded assessment, that means what is the meaning or what is the usefulness of conducting this technique to assess the students?
Yes, ma'am. I'm very happy that you are very particular and very clear. Even the number of slides you can mention. I'm happy about that. Okay. So in this, the main difference between graded assessment and ungraded assessment lies in there is giving a feedback after reaching the destination and in the pathway. When a person is graded, they have done with the work so that they have reached the destination. After that, if I am saying that you traveled a long way and you have reached a wrong destination, then that will be a lot of time and energy as well as all the efforts have been wasted, isn't it? So ungraded assessment can be done on the pathway itself. It may be a draft. The student may be submitting an incomplete draft, incomplete work or a draft to the educator. So the person will evaluate it and see, this is not what I expect in this particular assessment. For my assessment, that doesn't suit. Or you have to add few more points. Likewise, in the pathway, it is unfinished. So that the teacher or the educator can give these ideas. So that the particular learner can change the track or include something or can revise. There is space for all these. So the draft or incomplete contents will be ungraded, assessed ungraded. That is like a colloquium for research work. So in the pathway, persons will be giving suggestions. So that improves their work. And in the destination, definitely they will be having a graded assessment. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to look once again into the ungraded and graded system assessment. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We are grateful to express our appreciation to all those who made this FDP a successful one. Let us warmly welcome Ms. Arokirina, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, as to take the floor to convey our heartfelt thanks.
The miracle of gratitude is that it shifts your perception to such an extent that it changes the world you see. Dr. Robert Holden. First and foremost, I would like to thank God Almighty for His abundant blessings and for guiding us through this program with grace and success. On behalf of St.Ignatius College of Education, Palayamkottai, and Western College of Education, Chennai, I express my sincere appreciation to everyone who contributed to making today's faculty development program on quality assurance in assessment, NAAC compliance, and beyond a remarkable success. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Today has been an enriching experience filled with opportunities to learn, share, and grow, all of which would not have been possible without the dedicated efforts of many. I would like to particularly extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. R.Indra Ezhilselvi, Controller of Examinations and Assistant Professor of Psychology at St. Ignatius College of Education, Palayamkottai. Your in-depth exploration of the significance of upholding high standards in education has provided us with valuable perspectives that go beyond mere compliance, emphasizing the need for ongoing enhancement of our practices. Your suggestions on how to surpass basic expectations and achieve true educational excellence the quality of our programs. Thank you, ma'am, for imparting your knowledge and for motivating us to approach challenges with innovative thinking in this dynamic educational landscape. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Reverend Sister A. Mary Celestina, Secretary of St. Ignatius College of Education, and Reverend Father Ludusami Susai, expertise in guiding us through the principles of living and striving for excellence have been both enlightening and inspiring. We are truly grateful for the meticulous planning and coordination that made this event a reality, and we deeply appreciate your invaluable contributions to our learning journey today. Thank you, Sister. Thank you, Father. Sincere thanks to our esteemed Principal, Reverend Dr. L. Vasanthi Medona, St. Ignatius College of Education, for her exceptional leadership and wisdom in cultivating a nurturing and inspiring educational environment. Your unwavering commitment to excellence, innovation, and inclusivity has made our institution a beacon of quality education. We are profoundly grateful for your vision, passion, and dedication to our continued success. Thank you, Sister. I also express my deep gratitude to Dr. C. Sherry Minoka Snehalada, Principal of Western College of Education. Your presence today and your ongoing guidance have been instrumental in our professional development. Your commitment to fostering a culture of continuous improvement has empowered us to reach new heights in our careers. Thank you, ma'am. I extend my profound gratitude to Dr. M. Maria Saroja, Research Director, IQAC Coordinator, and Associate Professor of Biological Science, St. Ignatius College of Education, and Dr. G. Jemima, IQAC Coordinator at Western College of Education, who served as the organizing secretaries of this faculty development program. As IQAC coordinators, your specialized knowledge and dedication have been instrumental in enhancing and coordinating various institutional activities, ensuring the best practices are embedded throughout our organization. Thank you, ma'am, for your invaluable guidance, contributions, and encouragement in all our endeavors. My heartfelt thanks also go to Dr. N. Vijayan, President of Western College of Education, Major E.S. Daniel Unalidi, Vice President, and Engineer S. Joseph Reginald Isaac, Treasurer of Western College of Education. Your exceptional contributions to this program, marked by dedication, expertise, and hard work, have significantly enriched our efforts and made a lasting impact. We deeply appreciate your commitment and wish you continued success and fulfillment in all your future endeavors. Thank you. I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the professors of St. Ignatius College of Education, Palayamkottai, and Western College of Education, Chennai, for your active involvement and enthusiasm throughout this program. Your participation has truly made this event both engaging and meaningful. Thank you, R.Indra. Finally, to everyone who contributed, whether in large ways or small, thank you for your effort and commitment. It is the collective effort of each of you that has made today possible. As we conclude this faculty development program, let us carry forward the valuable insights and wisdom shared by our resource person and continue working together towards achieving our goals. Thank you all once again.
Dear participants, the feedback link is posted in the comment box. Thank you everyone for making this experience truly memorable and enriching. May this program be a stepping stone to greater achievements and success in our academic pursuits. Thank you everyone. Thank you all.